I believe that the Dallas Cowboys should tank the rest of the season, get the #1 overall pick, so you can draft Deion Sanders, and by the way, hire primetime Deion Sanders as your head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. I think that should be Jerry Jones's master plan. That's right, I said it.
All right, I'm coming out hot here to our quarterback. Kim, you heard what he had to say. Would Deion in Dallas be a good fit?
Wait.
Okay.
Tank for Shador? We just paid this guy $60 million. Okay, never mind. Back to you.
Yeah.
No, I do not think that it'll be a good look. And I'm going to tell you, what is a good look, I do believe, for Prime is Florida State University.
Yeah.
It makes the most sense.
His alma mater, yeah.
Because not only would you have more time to build a foundation, you have more resources than, respectfully, Colorado. I'm looking at one coach that stands out in Florida State that he could potentially build a legacy. Bobby Bowden.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think he will have the same time frame in Dallas. Mike McCarthy, 4 years on the bubble. Jason Garrett, 9 years. His quarterbacks, Dak Prescott, Matt Castle, Tony Romo, John Kitna. Wow. Wade Phillips, 3 years. In this day and age, everything has changed. We want right now results, but we don't have time to wait for nothing to be created.
Microwave society.
So we want a Thanksgiving meal with microwave resources.
Yeah.
So
okay, first of all, the Cowboys don't have to tank. They just need to keep doing more of the same, which is just being really bad at football. Second of all, there are still teams that are worse than them. So at this point, I think they would pick, if the season ended right now, 6. So they're not getting Shador anyway. Third of all, would I enjoy Deion Sanders in Dallas? Of course, because I'm always content farming, because I do multiple television shows, because I need headlines. Why on God's earth would Deion Sanders want to go to the Cowboys? They are not built to win. That roster is not good. And if you do bring in your son, you've got the albatross of Dak Prescott's contract hanging around your neck as you're trying to figure out how to trade him. You've got Michael Parsons you still have to deal with. You've already paid these dudes. Like, this is not at all, I think, a great fit for Deion, but I tell you what is, and it's not Florida State, because I don't think he's going to want to just, it's not a lateral move, obviously. Florida State is a proud program that really needs a resurgence, but if he's going to go to the NFL, how about Jacksonville, guys? How about Jacksonville? They're actually very much in the running to have one of the top picks. No, Stephen A., hear me out. They're very much in the running to have one of the top picks. Trevor Lawrence, it appears, at least in Jacksonville, his days are numbered. Shad Khan is one of the most. So did Dak. Shad Khan is one of the most loyal and patient owners that exist in the NFL. Deion, of course, is a Florida boy.
Urban Meyer would argue with that, but go ahead.
And you get to go to a place that really has no tradition of winning. Save for a little pocket of time in the 90s when they were somewhat decent and relevant. You get to go and resurrect a franchise that really never was and make your own imprint there. Why not go there? Or at the very least, the team that's actually picking #1 as it stands right now and has a huge quarterback problem, and that would be the Giants. Either one of those makes more sense than the Cowboys. They just signed Dak. It's not happening. It's absurd.
Wait, 1 second. Stephen A., before I kick it to you, I just want to be clear on something. Are we sure, and S.A., you would probably know this better than any of us, that Deion is chomping at the bit to be an NFL coach, or does he just want to be able to coach his son?
Well, first of all, Deion Sanders prefers kids as opposed to grown men when it comes to coaching. So the NFL is not nearly as attractive a commodity to him as coaching on the collegiate level is, because he loves nurturing young boys into becoming men. The exception, I personally believe, as somebody that has known him for many years, would be the Cowboys. That is not something he has ever acknowledged or admitted. I'm not trying to break news in that regard. I think the ultimate aberration for him would be the Cowboys. That's why I brought up the Cowboys. He ain't trying to go no damn Jacksonville. Get that out your head, Elton. He ain't trying to do that. Right? He'd rather stay. He'd rather stay on the collegiate level. Yeah. I'm just telling you, it's not even a thought. It's not even a thought. The Cowboys are a different animal. I'll get back to the Cowboys in a second. Cam, let me tell you why Florida State, you can argue, wouldn't be an option. He desperately wanted to coach at Florida State.
Definitely did.
They shoved him aside like he never was even there. Like he didn't star at the university. Like he wasn't an All-American there. I mean, they just totally summarily dismissed
Yesterday's price isn't today's price, though.
I feel you on
if
that.
you
I
bring
feel
that
you on
check and then you say, man,
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. That's when you can't get that check elsewhere. But when you can get that check elsewhere, then you got choices. That's all I'm trying to say.
college teams that can compete at a high level
Well, if you
with
remember,
Florida State.
If you remember, I wanted him considered at Alabama, Texas A&M.
No.
I thought so. Hold on. It was SEC, baby. I don't know why I got to argue with you about that. I don't know why I got to argue with you about that. But in the end, you damn right, they got deep pockets. They could have given that to him. The same thing that Florida State would have been able to give to him. Let me get back to the Cowboys. I'm not talking about tanking the season for Shedeur Sanders. I'm talking about the package deal. Because I think the opportunity to coach his son on the pro level, all right, when we know this brother is pro-worthy.
How are
I'm talking about
players
Shedeur
going to
Sanders.
look at that, though?
Come on, bro.
Oh, my Lord.
Stephen A.
I'll let everybody speak. I let
the
everybody
logistics
speak. I
here?
didn't say anything. I sat here and listened. Now, I have had these conversations. I have had these conversations with a number of people about this subject. Deion Sanders, when you think about him, the ultimate situation would be the Dallas Cowboys because he's always had love for Jerry. Always, okay? And the fact is, when you look at Big D and the Cowboy brand, who's the person that seems ideal for that? Who's the person that can look in the eyes of the players and be like this, look, I've been here, I've done this. And I'm not talking about just on the football field. I'm talking about in terms of marketability. I'm talking about in terms of embracing the responsibility that comes with the shine, the star, the $1 billion playpen that y'all play in. There's a responsibility that comes with this. And being able to just decipher what the responsibilities are when you're playing for this franchise and getting folks to buy in. If we've seen what have we religiously raved about with Deion Sanders? Not just his high ability to motivate folks, but the biggest point of it all is that he seems to be able to do things and connect with people in a way most people don't. What are we talking about with the Cowboys here? You can look at their roster, and that's a part of it. But if Jerry Jones has the potential to listen to anybody, it would be somebody like him.
RC?
Yeah, well, first off, Jerry Jones ruined this. I said this like in the offseason, very early on the pivot. I thought that was the best idea to try to draft Shedeur Sanders. I thought you try to get rid of Dak before the year, let him go sign a big contract somewhere, absolutely tank this season, draft Shedeur Sanders and bring in Deion Sanders with him. Here's why I think Deion Sanders would go to Dallas even without the opportunity to coach his son, because he ain't going to get to coach his son no more if he stay in college anyway. If he stay at Colorado, Shedeur ain't coming back there. If he go to Florida State, Shedeur ain't transferring there. Shedeur already said, I ain't even signing up for classes for the next semester because I'm going to be in the league. So we already know that's happening. So if the Dallas Cowboys can't get them because Jerry screwed the pooch and gave Dak money that he deserves, so I'm not saying that. I'm glad he got his money. I would have tanked it. I would have done it way before now, because now if you take it, you don't get Shedeur Sanders anyway. You'll be in the Travis Hunter sweepstakes, but not his. But if you're Jerry Jones and you're getting rid of Mike McCarthy, if you're Jerry Jones, who already said, if my players think that the tours are a distraction to them, it don't matter. I ain't changing it. The Jerry Jones that thought this roster was good enough to win anyway and seems literally actually shocked every weekend they lose and they ask him questions, go get Deion Sanders. Because what I do know is I'm a 45-year-old man. When I talk to Deion Sanders, I respect him. When I talk to Deion Sanders, I listen. When Deion Sanders tells me something about football, I respect it, I accept it, I try to understand it because I feel it'll make me understand football better. The same thing would happen for Deion Sanders in the league. Deion Sanders is the leader of men no matter if they're 10, 18, or 26. He understands what it's like to be in that locker room. He's the only person that when they're frustrated with the Jerry Jones, that a player can go into his office and he can say, this is how I handled it. This is how I went about my business. What is there to stay in college for? And I agree with Elle and Cam. It may not be a long runway, but you don't need it to be long because they'll always accept you back in college if you fail. Example is Matt Rule, who's right back in Nebraska with a big contract, and he was one of the worst head coaches in the NFL we've seen in a long damn time. If I'm Deion Sanders, if the Dallas Cowboys call me, I leave immediately. When Shador pack his bags, I pack mine too.
We saw that from Nick Saban, too, to your point, RC. But one thing that, can I get in my L bag real quick? Let me give y'all some little history that y'all probably forgot. What about Coach Jimmy Johnson? We've seen there's only one star on the side of the helmet in Dallas. I don't want to say what they refer themselves to because that's not the case. And there's also only one star in Dallas that's going to have the final say. And that's not going to be a good combination for a figure like Deion Sanders. If Deion Sanders comes with the bravado and the impact, then yeah, that's cool until it's not cool for Jerry Jones. That becomes an issue. When you have an alpha or a person who has power and then another person who has impact, that's a recipe for disaster. Now, if I go back to what I'm saying, go to Florida State. You're going to get the money. You're going to get the resources. You're going to get everything you need. Oh, and by the way, the facility that they're putting in Tallahassee is going to be something crazy. Mm-hmm. So everything that you want to do, build the rapport and make boys to men. That's what Deion Sanders is.
Great group, by the way. None of this matters, what a great leader of men he is and all of those things. You can't win one for the Gipper if you don't have any damn talent. This is not a good roster. Yeah. And you know what? He's a great leader of men. And he was a great leader of men last year at Colorado, and they won 3 games. And what did he do? He went into the transfer portal and brought in another 40 new players. He can't do that in the NFL. You can't do that in the NFL. You're stuck with what the hell you got, and what he's got is a dud. I don't care. If you're Deion, why would you want this job?
Elle?
Yes.
Are you trying to tell me, it could be Bill Parcells, it could be a Belichick, it could be an abundance of coaches, Mike Tomlin, for example, et cetera. Never had a losing season in his 17-year career. I remember last year even when the Pittsburgh Steelers had Mason Rudolph, Mitchell Trubisky, and I've got Kenny Pickett quarterbacking for them, for crying out loud. Are you trying to sit here and tell me that the Dallas Cowboys, who definitely have some talent issues, no doubt about that, like you've never seen any coach come in and maximize the minimal amount of potential they have had around them to make an NFL team respectable for a season? You trying to tell me that's not happening?
Sure, but like with some of the teams that you're talking about, if you're talking about like Bill Belichick and with the Patriots, he didn't have an albatross of a $240 million contract for a quarterback that seems to have not gotten any better.
Time out. Hold on. Stay right there.
He doesn't have multiple contracts looming large on defense that he also has to lock up. They're going to eliminate his ability to bring talent in.
I'm trying to ask you a question.
Yes, we've seen people have turnarounds.
Dak Prescott,
we have.
$60 million. Because the NFL is the way that it is in terms of markets. Like, for example, Dak Prescott, he got $60 million. He gets $60 million because we looked at him and said he should be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Because the market said at that particular moment in time, this is what it gets, this is what it bears. And obviously the cap's going to go up, right? Because the NFL is printing money. You're trying to tell me that you can't trade Dak Prescott if you wanted to and somebody wouldn't take him? Yes, you could.
The trade
in the NFL, yes, you could.
It's the trade value
there. It's not great trade value, and also you're going to eat some of that money. Even if you do trade him somewhere, you're doing a Russell Wilson, Steelers, Broncos situation where you're going to have to carry some of that cost.
And what happened? They got rid of him anyway. That's all I'm saying. It's the National Football League, y'all. It's the National Football League, and that's just one position. Cam, you just finished sitting there lecturing me about how one player don't decide everything. It's not just one player. There are plenty of others, Stephen A. It's not just one guy. Elle started off the show. It's not just one person. RC has said it numerous times this morning. But now we could. Oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Come on, y'all. There are ways to make things happen in the National Football League. And the key is, do you have the head coach? Do you have that individual that resonates? Boom.
I'm just curious if Shador is even going to be better than Dak Prescott, but that's a conversation for another day. RC,
we know he ain't going to be worse.
You.